Hi everyone, this is Natalia with Knit Boise, and I am going to show you how to knit the knit stitch, which is your basic stitch that you will use with almost every knitting project. So I have my yarn here and I have some circular needles. This technique is used for both straight and circular needles, it does not matter. So I've casted on some stitches and I'm ready to go. So I'm going to hold my work in my left hand, and in my right hand I'm going to pick up my other needle. I'm going to go into this first stitch. I'm going to go from front to back right above this little knot. I'm going to make an X. Now my index finger and thumb, it's kind of nice to stabilize both of these needles by kind of gripping right below here so that my right hand is free. Now I'm going to take my yarn and wrap it around the back needle. Give it a little tug so it stays in that crevice. Pick up my needle again, and we are going to scoot that needle down and towards yourself through this little hole here. There is my new stitch. And I'm going to let this old stitch off the needle. So you go from front to back, make an X, you wrap the back needle, give it a little tug, slide that needle down and tip the needle towards you under that little hole there, and then slide the old stitch off. So what we're doing is we are opening up the stitch. See, we're kind of opening it up. We're wrapping it around. We are creating a new stitch and then finishing it off by bringing it through there. So that's kind of what it looks like. And then you slide that old stitch off. And kind of scoot it up a little bit. Now, kind of keep it loose when you're learning how to knit. You don't really need to tighten a whole lot. If you're tightening after every stitch, you might find yourself seeing this little bump right here. That's how you know it's a little bit too tight. So you can go ahead and relax it by pulling it down. And with time, you'll find a good positioning for your hands. I have found over the years I like to kind of scoop my yarn and kind of have it in this position where my middle finger and my thumb go back to clamp the needle. So I go make an X, I release, wrap, grip, bring it through. If you're just starting out though, don't really worry about that. That will come with time. It's good to scoot your stitches up. Your first stitch should be just about like an inch from the tip. You don't want it too close, that's a little risky. A lot of knitting is scooting though, scooting these stitches to the right position. And this style is called English style, where I'm wrapping the yarn with my right hand. If you come from a crochet background, you might find that you want to wrap with your left hand, which is called continental style, we're kind of the same way. You just use your left hand to you scoop the yarn through and then bring it in like that. So you make the X, you kind of wrap it or scoop it, however you want to look at it, then bring it through. So it's the same, it creates the same stitch. I think it's good to learn both methods, because if you ever get into color work, then using 2 different colors of yarn in the same row, then you can use both hands. You can look kind of like a spider. It's pretty fun. It's very efficient. Okay, I want to get to the end of the row so I can show you a good trick for going into the next row. So I'm going to speed it up. The last stitches work the same. Okay, so if you're ready to move on to your next row, oh my goodness, sorry, loud. Okay, so you just turn your work around so it's back in your left hand. Okay. You can admire your row and give yourself a pat on the back, woohoo! And you can kind of, see what you did. Now, when you're going into your first stitch, you want to make sure that you're going into the right spot. A lot of times, knitters will see that this stitch below looks really loose, and they'll try to tug on this yarn to tighten it. Well, that's actually not going to tighten this bump from the row before. It's always, it's typical, it's normal for the first and last stitches to look a little bit looser. And yeah, so the problem, if you tug this yarn super tightly, it gets a little confusing on where that first stitch actually is. You know, if you were to go in and started to knit right here, you might find yourself knitting 2 stitches into 1. So a lot of times newer knitters, their work like a scarf will increase. It will get wider and wider. And that's kind of the trick here is when you're starting a new row, make sure you hold your work and pull it down and see, oh, my stitch wants to get a little bigger, my yarn wants to come down, pull it down, then you can see that little bump right there. And that's where you know, okay, that's where I need to knit. So I'm going to go above that little bump and then start the row. So that is how it goes. There are a lot more little tricks, but the more you knit, the more you will just kind of learn them on your own and gain more confidence. So good luck with that. And yeah, all right, bye.